this is actually take two. I had recorded this outside of one of my gyms, and it was a really cool backdrop. I think it was by the stairs, and I used this tripod that I had purchased, and this Gorilla Grip tripod thing that just was hanging onto the railing. Anyhow, it looked really cool. It looked really classy. We're here on the couch now, and now it just makes it look like, dude, you just bum it in your couch, and which to some degree is true, but I guess it's true. Anyhow, we're anaerobic. That's what we will call it. We're either moving or we're not. So third year of weight training at this point. I'm 19 now. And as previously discussed, one of my biggest issues was that I was still into other sports. And it was just really hard to balance, both bodybuilding and sports where, again, surely putting on strength and building mass was an advantage, but up until a certain point. What ended up happening was after I just kept dealing with this stress fracture that kept happening in my left foot, and it knocked me out of my freshman track season, and I was just really, I guess, it was frustrating, it was disappointing, and just the idea of being hurt just really left like a bad taste in my mouth when it came to sprinting track and field. I let that thing heal, and so here's a fun, not, I guess, a fact. I was born with a heart murmur, and it's a structural thing, meaning it's because of the way my valves are structured. It just has a different beat, and I'm okay. It's other than the fact that it sounds a little different. I'm in really, so long as I stay active, and maintain a manageable weight and lifestyle and all that stuff, all the healthy things that I kind of do anyways that just revolve around this. I'm okay, but at the time I was kind of, in my head I kind of had it in me that perhaps what I should do, given the fact that I didn't ever want this to be an issue, maybe I should start focusing a little bit more on endurance training, and that's what I did. I think one, because just out of fear, I decided to start running long distances, and then also because I was very bad at them. That was the difference between a lot of the other sports I participated in. Is that I had a knack for them, whereas like running long distances, I think by the time I got to the half-mile mark on any kind of extended run, it's like my hamstrings and butt would just burn, and lungs taste blood, all that stuff. So I just wasn't meant for that, and I took it as a challenge to, hey, like, let's get good at this. Let's see how well you do when you do something that you're not necessarily very good at. So I took up the long distance running. I did it for about a year. I got okay at it. There was just other kids that I would run with at the time that just, honestly, they just had a knack for it. And I basically just kept doing that along with weight training, and it got to the point where I found myself under 130 pounds, and basically my weight room progress just not only did it stop, it backtracked some. And I think it was because I wasn't obviously planning both things accordingly. I was trying to go just as hard in the weight room as I was, and trying to get better at the whole long distance thing. So in a way, I never really. I wouldn't call it a waste of time, but I think looking back now, could have planned all that a bit better, and yeah, I was doing it for the wrong reasons. So third year weight training, instead of like really starting to make like the progress that I was kind of selling myself short on because of the other sports, I ended up getting down to about 120 something pounds. So yeah, that is it. That is how the first 3 years happened. Fell in love with it. That was the main thing. But I think the first 3 years of weight training for most people are going to be the most fruitful. and I kind of I spun my wheels. That's what I did. That's how I came out of the gates. I spun my wheels, and at this point, it's been very sporadic weight training. So um, it gets better. I'll leave it there. Let's move on to this week's footage. Okay, training. How did it go? Well, um, first of all, as you guys know, I am trying to bring back my squat. You guys will see that that is probably the highlight of this week. One of the efforts of this journal was to be a lot more transparent when it comes to the good and the bad. Everything else is going really well outside of just the fact that I wish I was powerlifting. That's probably the only thing that can make the progress I've seen this offseason any better. But yeah, pressing's been a little icky, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I strained my left pec a few weeks back, and just really barely getting back to building up that momentum. But I guess in terms of development, this is about as happy as I've been with my upper body. Not with the way it looks necessarily, because the competitive athlete in me, thinks there's always something I can do a little better, but more so just in regards to the progress we have made in what has now been in, let's see here, a 14-month off season. Very content with that, super content with that. So I think that feels good. That up until this point, I have more or less, figured out quite a bit. So back is better than ever, and so are my arms, which again is not saying much, but they have improved. Now here's, I guess, the low point. So I was feeling very confident about my squat, and this was my second squat session back, and check this out. And basically, after this, I was kind of like, who needs to squat? I'm progressing anyways. If I ran marathons, my legs would grow, so who cares? But again, I want to powerlift. I want to get stronger and be strong, and just be as good as I can be as a powerlifter, which again I'm quite limited when it comes to that. But this was the very next squat session, and yeah, back to a healthy looking squat. I felt good, and I think just for the time being, I think squatting maybe once every 7 to 9 days is going to be where it's at, and we'll just try to build up from there. So again, this is my main, I like to call it my DeLorean leg press, which is kind of fitting given the fact that that Back to the Future buzz has been going around. But I call it my DeLorean leg press. This is where I get most of my work, and I guess my main progressive movement for my lower half. But again, training's been going well. Everything has been going as planned, I'd say. I did take a week off from training the week after this week, and it has to do with the fact that USAPL Nationals was going on. It's an all-day event. It was a multiple-day event, and I just wanted to be there for my athletes, my friends, and that's also one thing that I have been doing a bit more, is just taking time off. Taking a week off here and there, about 3 times a year, I think is appropriate, maybe 4. And we'll get into why exactly, I think, in the next video. But what I'm really proud of is just that I got this up, because usually when I miss a week or I'm a little behind, it's one of those things where, like, I feel like that dude that basically stops going to the gym sometimes, because he missed a day. So I missed a day, so I just start up next week. So it's kind of the same way with this. And because I've gotten so much positive feedback in person, even people in my gym have told me, like, dude, I really enjoy following those things, and I get quite a bit from them. Keep doing what you're doing. So this is up here because of you guys. We will keep it rolling. There will be more footage. Next video update will be a bit longer. But again, just wanted to show you guys that it hasn't been linear. It isn't always right. Everything doesn't always go according to plan, and you will see more of this as time goes on. You will see, things like me taking up cross country. I know are waiting for me. Not that exactly, but setbacks or like a squat day that didn't go right. I want to put more of that up here and just share that with you guys, because again, like all of you guys, I get frustrated. I think just one thing I am pretty good at now, more than I was before, is just kind of bouncing back and being a lot more resilient. But yeah, that is where we are at. Very happy with this offseason. I think this is the closest I've ever been to being like, hey, progress has been so fruitful that I could possibly compete next year, and I would see enough changes in my physique that it would justify me being up there. But at the same time, it's the greedy human side of me is like, hey, get some more. So we will see. I'll see you guys next week.